Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you're all having a wonderful summer day. I'm here to update my No Pan Left Behind series. If this is the first time visiting my channel, welcome. I am so glad that you are here. What I'm doing in this series is just trying to get use out of my single eyeshadows. Last year, I did a series where I was tracking my eyeshadow usage as well as my blush usage, and after tracking those items for an entire year, I discovered that I was very much underusing my beloved single eyeshadow collection. So this year I decided I needed to do a project to help me reach for them, and I didn't really give myself a goal of using every single one in like an entire year. I just have a lot of eyeshadows, so I didn't want to give myself like a hard and fast goal like that. The goal is just to use some of them per month, and I randomly generate a whole bunch to use, and anything that I don't use gets rolled over into the next month. If I have any looks to share, I will share them, and we will randomly generate new shades at the end. So maybe let's talk about looks first. I am wearing some of the single eyeshadows today. I am wearing this shade from Sydney Grace. This is called Lilac Daydream throughout my crease, and then a random cream colored eyeshadow from ColourPop on the inner part of my lid. And then the beautiful, shiny, sparkly beautifulness that is there is this shade from KVD. This is the shade Flash Storm in the Dazzle stick, and I just love how that turned out. Some other looks that I did this month, I have to point out this shade. This is from JD Glow. This is the shade Unexpected, which is the most incredible, sparkly, shiny, kind of green gold eyeshadow you've ever seen in your life. I went to a party where the theme was red, black, and gold, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go all out. I wore tons of gold jewelry and this very sparkly eyeshadow, and it was a lot of fun, I must admit. I don't often let myself wear something that bright and out there and daring, and that was so much fun. This shade actually wasn't rolled into this project last month, but since I did wear it, I decided to put it or take it out of my spreadsheet because I did wear it. That's one of those shadows where it's like a look all on its own. It makes a statement. I did this really fun look where I layered Chemical Bond from Nabla with this beautiful shade from Glam Shop called Fluff. The cool toned kind of grayish undertone with that yellow sparkle on top. I just loved how that turned out, and then I used this Viseart shadow in my inner corner. Another look I did involved Makeup Geek Prim and Proper through the crease, and then Sydney Grace Blondie, which is one of my favorite pinks. Love it, all over my lid. This was just a beautiful monochrome look. Another eye look I did involved Makeup Geek Peach Smoothie, that kind of classic shadow through my crease. Then on my outer corner, I used Sydney Grace Chocolate Bar, and all over my lid, Sydney Grace Blushed. And I had also drawn a lot of cream shadows last time. So in addition to the KVD Dazzle stick, I also used my NARS Jumbo eyeshadow stick. This actually was kind of a rediscovery for me. I hadn't reached for it, and I don't even know how long, and it was practically brand new in my collection, barely touched, and I loved this. It wore super well for me, and this shade was just super delightful. This is the shade Iced Mocha. I know I swatched it for you last time, but I want to swatch it for you again so you can see how nice that is. Ooh, I just absolutely loved that. So anyway, I used that. Also, my NYX Glow Shots in the shade Golden Goji. I think I wore this as a single shadow look one day when I didn't want something too crazy, just something a little glimmery. It was actually very pretty. Really enjoyed this. And then I had also a Phytosurgence shade, the shade Chilled Cherry, which is my favorite Phytosurgence eyeshadow. And I think when I wore that, I topped it with like a sparkly top coat. The one from Kaja that I'm currently trying to use. So there's actually two cream shadows I had pulled last time that I didn't get to, so they will roll over into next month. That includes Sydney Grace Blossoming, which is this beautiful pink color, and also my Bodyography Pressed Pigment in the shade Celestial, which looks like that. And then all the shades left in here are the pressed shadows that I haven't gotten to yet. So all of these will be rolling over into the next 30 days. And now I'm going to randomly generate and hopefully fill up this whole section with more pressed eyeshadows. So I'm going to screen record my screen here. I have random.org set up with the numbers 1 through 116. Let's generate. I get number 18. Ooh. This is a NARS single shadow, and this is the shade Cashmere, which, oh, I adore this. It's very similar actually to that Nabla shade I had pulled last month. It's not really the time of year for me to reach for taupes like this, but honestly, I don't really care. I can wear these anytime. Oh, I just love that. Let's generate again. Number 76. Ooh. Some beautiful shades. So this is from my Kaja Beauty Rosewater Trio. So I have the trio here actually in this little palette because I had this trio pulled for another project I'm doing, which I have been very slow progress on that project, by the way. But I realized I shouldn't have had this shadow in this spreadsheet because I have used it already this year in that project. So I'm just going to re-roll for a different shadow. Number 7, which I think is probably a Makeup Geek shadow. Yes, that's the shade In the Spotlight, which is one of my favorites of all time. Here we have it. It looks mostly kind of peachy orange, but I find it to be a very, very flattering shade for me. Love it. Next, we get number 84. That is a depotted shade from the e.l.f. New Classics palette. This is the shade Darling, which is just this matte brown. That will be a very handy shade. Next, shade number 50. That is a Glam Shop shadow, and this one is called Plan B, which is this beautiful purpley pink shadow. Next, we have number 48, which is another Glam Shop shadow, which is fabulous. This is the shade Slipper, which is another purpley pink shade. This is a beautiful shimmer formula. Generate again, shade number 22. This is a Sydney Gray shadow, the shade Success, which I think this is a matte gray or maybe even a matte black. Here we go. This matte gray, which, you know, another shade not really reaching for so much in the summer, but I might surprise myself and create a look. Oh, that is just such high quality. I love these mattes. I was thinking that today when I was putting this Sydney Gray shadow through my crease. Just, oh, I love working with Sydney Gray's mattes so much. Okay, so this is what the palette's looking like. We still have some room, so let's keep generating. We have number 36. This is another Sydney Gray shadow. This is the shade Bailey's Bliss, which this is like a champagne. So this one should be very, very easy to work into an eye look. Shade number 58 is another cream shadow from Sydney Gray's. This is the shade Cliff Jumping. And if I remember correctly, this is a cool toned shade. So you see like the tiny little dot that I got? These go so far. Wow. So that is Cliff Jumping. Next up, we have number 110. That's the Sydney Gray shadow Pensacola. This one, I don't remember what it is. I'm gonna have to do some hunting. Okay, now I know why I couldn't remember what it is. It's because I never reach for shades like this. So this is a beautiful blue. So here we have Pensacola. Ooh, I've got kind of a fun color story here. Okay, we have room for 2 more shades if they're like a regular size pan. So let's keep generating shade number 21. Sorry if you can hear my husband, he's also on the phone in the background, but this is the shade Peach Fuzz from Sydney Gray. So I have another matte brown, which always comes in handy. Okay, room for 1 more. Shade number 97. Ooh, my other Bodyography pigment, which this is the shade Off the Hook, which is amazing. But I rolled so many kind of cool toned shades this month, which is interesting. Anyway, Off the Hook. Okay, let's generate again. We get the shade number 44. Ooh, that's another beautiful Glam Shop shadow. This is such a glorious top coat shade. This is the shade Moon Dust. And these are so hard to swatch, but hopefully you can see it on my finger, how it's mostly translucent, but it's kind of blue purple. So see how beautiful that is. So here we have the full palette that I'll be working with, and as always, I'll be trying to use up these shadows over here, ones that rolled over from last month. And you know, who knows how many of these cool tone shadows I'll get to in the summertime. In the summer, I really do try to stick to shadows like this, just because I don't really wear them in the wintertime. So, but again, I might surprise myself and reach for those taupes just because I love them so much. So in addition to these, I rolled in those 2 more cream shadows. one from Sydney Grace, one from Bodyography. So I still have these last two from last time. So I feel like I have a really good mix of shadows to use for the next 30 days, and I always have a really good time reaching for these. I just love these. A lot of these are ones that I handpicked myself. Some of them, like especially the ones where I don't know what they are, they were like gift with purchase. But when it comes to my single shadows, most of them I picked myself. So most of them I love. So it's always a fun time reaching for these shadows. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That means you get to hear about today's tea of the day. I will put on the screen what this one is called. This is a green tea. This is definitely one to watch your temperature with. I was really careful. I used water that was around 175 degrees and it did not become bitter, but I can tell if the water had been just even a little bit more hot, it would have become bitter. But happily I managed to avoid that, and it's nice and sweet and kind of grassy tasting. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope again you have a wonderful June. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.